A lot of news sources were going to space monkeys to sample sound bites and shit, just to because we versed it so well.
I mean, when you're in Disney, you come to...
There is no outside world.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. There, and it's a nice feeling, like Mickey Mouse is your president.
He's president. Yep.
And he's never going to say anything towards another, towards a demographic. You know, he's never going to offend anybody.
He's not building any walls.
No,
you got Minnie Mouse
as
first lady.
He's breaking down walls to get you into Disney.
Right.
If you got money, and you're going to need a lot of it.
That's key.
Mickey is your guy. As long as you got the moolah, he will make you forget about the outside world.
Right. And it's worth it. Right? Just a little bit.
To forget about
everything that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, can you put a price on being able to forget about the outside world for a couple days? Because, eventually, you can't stay there forever, but,
Yeah, I can. It's about $1.60 a can.
You're Nutella ice?
Natty ice.
What's that? Natty ice?
That's his beer.
That's my beer.
Beer you drink?
That's his beer choice.
That Natty Daddy.
I got sulfur poisoning down in Florida.
Sulfur poisoning, huh? So you were
you
took a side excursion to a sulfur mine, I'm assuming, which is the only way I would imagine someone could get sulfur poisoning.
No, you can get it through the water.
No. Get out of here.
You can.
Don't you normally get that through well water? Like sulfur. I mean, if anybody's going to know, the guy who would know is sitting right here.
You have a well on the farm,
yes,
right?
Yes, we have a well on
the
farm.
Now, do you guys have to take the temperature of the water? I don't mean literally the temperature, but do you guys have to test the water before you drink it on occasion?
We did when we first got the place to get a CO.
How many years ago?
12 years ago now.
I was going to say, I walked in on a conversation where Gidim was complaining about the state of the rotten food he knowingly bought. He knew it. He knew that it was past its shelf date when he bought it. He eats it, makes him sick, and then he's like, "What the fuck?" That's insane to me.
It was 1 day to its shelf date.
Like 1 day past it?
No, it was 1 day too, and then that's why it was 50% off.
But when you have a well, do you have to make sure you're constantly testing the purity of the water to make sure it's safe?
Not really, because usually the whatever feeds it is so far down that it doesn't really get affected by
Is there a hole above ground that you could fall in?
No, it's about 8 inches. Almost like Baby Jessica fell into.
I would say Baby Gidim.
Baby Gidim.
They wouldn't try to save me though. They just put a cover
I
on
don't
that
think you get the same amount of news coverage, Gidim.
Really, you think if Gidim fell into a well?
What, a 40-year-old man?
As an adult, yeah. Because that was a big thing for a little while.
Oh, yeah. That was before there was 24-hour news, though.
Yeah.
I think you almost had 24-hour news then.
I guess it was at the birth of it, right?
Yeah, they were breaking in to the regular newscasts.
The networks?
Yeah.
Still, yeah. I mean, it was a big story that was that consumed America.
Because back then we had more newscasts per day. We had the 12 o'clock news, the morning news.
We had more than we have now?
No, I'm saying on each
network
news, on network TV, yeah.
But as going back to the sulfur poisoning, though.
Maybe Jessica's 30.
She's single?
She fell down the well in 1987.
Are you?
No.
Okay, then why are you asking? Then?
What do you care, get him? You think you're going to get with a star like Baby Jessica?
But have you ever? When's the last time you were in Florida?
Not this past June. The June before.
Okay, so recently.
Yeah, within a year. So when you turn
on the water tap, can you? It's overpowering, right? The sulfur.
I didn't find that. We stayed in Fort Wilderness, we rented one of those cabins.
Yeah.
And I didn't find it to be sulfury, no. But you stayed in.
You could turn the tap on. I mean, you could just smell the room. It just smells like burnt eggs.
Right.
And when you turn the shower on, and by the third day I was there, I had what you call the sulfur. Sulfur ice.
The sulfur shuffle to the fucking bathroom.
No, you know what? It didn't cause me to have to use the bathroom, but it would cause me to feel like my stomach was swollen, and it was a constant feeling of I had to burp to release this gas. But whenever I would burp to try to release it, it didn't do anything. And so then I just had to go on a strict diet of bottled water and sandwich, like vanilla sandwich cookies that were in a package, that were prepackaged.
I like how Mexico to most people is like that's Florida to you. You need bottled water and shit. Anybody else in the family fall prey?
To sulfur?
Yeah, to the sulfur poisoning?
No, shockingly, I was the only one who.
And are the girls like, oh,
yeah,
like of course something had to go wrong.
Well, I didn't let it stop me. It wasn't like I was laid up in bed. I just had to make sure I didn't do anything like cuckoo on the in terms of rides or anything because of my belly wasn't feeling 100%.
Yeah, I'll say with the well, sometimes like you get a heavy rainfall and then you get that smell comes through.
What's causing it?
Like I guess like the water going into
the water is draining and all the fecal matter from the
No.
forest.
It's
all the manure.
It's like all the water goes into the whatever the well draws from it, and like it stirs it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was at the first day at the hotel, and we stayed at the Animal Kingdom, which is one of the higher end hotels.
Right, very posh. Yeah.
Figured this is probably the last
That and the
time.
Grand Floridian are the two that are pretty fancy.
And this is the one that you can look at on your balcony. You could see some animals.
So you even went for the high-end room, like not one that's looking at the parking lot, one that's...
Yeah, you got to pay extra for the room, or you could see the animals.
Oh, I would imagine so.
Yeah, so we did it because it was, probably, I've got an 18-year-old daughter. I mean, when's the next time we're going to be taking a family trip like this again? We don't know.
Yeah.
So we're I was like, I don't care what it costs. If that's the one that they want to do, let's do what they want to do. We'll do it.
Now, do they guarantee you'll see animals or?
I mean, it's pretty. There's no need to guarantee.
You can't help but see
so
them.
many animals.
Is it to the point where you're like, oh, it's goddamn animals, get out of here?
No, but so I know this is going to sound like I'm brain dead, but take in consideration, I've never been to the Animal Kingdom hotel. I've never, and I don't know. I don't know what Disney has in store for us. I don't know what new wonders that they're ready to spring on us. So I'm at the hotel and I have to we're going down to catch a bus to another park. My wife says she forgot something in the hotel room. I got to go run upstairs and grab it before the bus gets there. So I'm on my way in, and what they have, I mean, it's a gorgeous hotel, and they have these you'd love it. They have these fires inside the hotel where you could just sit and read a book, and it smells so nice. The fire just smells really nice, but it doesn't give off a lot of heat though for some reason. And there was this gentleman, not affiliated with Disney, just what I thought was a guest. I still think he was a guest, but he was sitting there reading a book, and he had this animal on his shoulder. And it was tiny, and at first glance, it appear to be a dog, like a service dog, because I saw a lot of service dogs.
Right. Yeah. That's the new scam everybody pulls. Is
I wanted to do it.
I need my therapy dog. Yeah. I need my anxiety dog or rabbit or cockatoo or whatever the fuck. Yeah. I
was going to try to save on dog sitting and buy on eBay, just buy a couple leashes that said service dog.
Like those invisible dog leashes you get at the boardwalk.
But this gentleman has what appears to be the tiniest dog I've ever seen in my life, though. I mean, it's so tiny. And what's also fucked up about it is that it's dressed in a blue suit. Like it has a weird, Aladdin suit on.
Right.
And it has legs though, but when I look at its hat, it has a bellman's hat.
A fez.
A fez, yeah. Yes.
If this ends up being an Indian baby, we're finished.
And I thought it was an animal. I'm positive it's an animal, but I'm not sure if it's a dog or not. I'm like, what is that? Because it's moving. It's alive. There's no doubt about it in my mind that it's alive. The way it's moving, and it's moving its head back and forth, but it doesn't have a dog's face. It has almost like a bird's eye. And it has a very strange snout that doesn't look like a beak though to me. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is this something that Disney's now is doing? Are they creating animals that are like?
It's like Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I'm like, is this a combination of two animals that? No, what's that?
Sugar glider.
No,
I know some people have.
Do you think I would think that was that looked like a dog?
If it had a suit on, a little hat.
I mean, it looked, and the way it was sitting on this person's shoulder was so like regal. So I'm like, I don't have much time, but I'm like, I can't. I have to find out what manner of creature is this. Yeah. Like, so I walk up to him. I was like, "Excuse me." I go, "Is that a bird or is that a dog?"
My child, how dare you?
And he looks at me. He looks up and he goes and he laughs. And I'm watching it, and it's moving its head, and it's moving its arms, like, and its paws or whatever you want to call them. But again, it's dressed in like all this blue felt and velvet. I can't tell what it is and I can't, it doesn't have an odor either, but it's overpowered by the fire. So I can't tell what it is. And, he looks at me and he goes, "It's a griffin. Do you know what a griffin is?" And I'm like, well, first asshole, you're probably talking to the only guy in the fucking hotel that probably knows what a griffin is. So don't fucking be so condescending.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah, because they're so fucking common, griffins.
Yeah, and
they're all over the place.
And so then I think, I'm like, oh, he's crazy. So I'm
he's
like,
thinking the same thing about you. You're like, is that a dog or a bird?
And so I said, oh, and I laughed because I'm like, okay, he thinks it's a griffin. So I'm like, oh, okay. And he goes, a griffin is a lion and an eagle mixed. Right. Like real, like a jerk kind of like tone. And I'm like, yeah, I know what it is. I go, obviously it's not a griffin. I go, all right. And so I go to turn away, and he goes, "It's a puppet."
Oh.
Like I was an idiot. Like he was so annoyed at me. And I'm like, and I want to be screaming. I'm like, fuckhead. You want the attention of having this fucking thing on your shoulder. And yet when somebody comes up to you and he was like, "What is that?" You're annoyed by them.
Right. Like, and this is a guest. Because nobody who works at Disney is going to treat you like that.
Oh, yeah, it had to be a guest.
So it's definitely a guest, and it's definitely a guest who's like, "Hey, I know." When Kevin and I used to work at the store, people would come in, like some people would have snakes or birds. Like there's that extra attention factor that they're looking for. They can't just have a snake and keep them at home.
Right.
Got to bring them to the store. This guy has his fucking puppet, whatever the fuck
he pulled it. He pulled out of his pocket. He pulled like a remote control that he was making it move with his hands, like in his hand in his pocket. So this thing was basically like, it's something like out of Westworld. Mm-hmm. It was that realistic and moved that, like, with the handheld device that he had in his pocket. He was able to make it move its eyes. But he was so angry at me for believing that it could be a real animal. Like, he was so annoyed that I asked him about it, though.
As opposed to like, wow, I did a pretty good job. Like this guy thinks it's real. Now, this wasn't the fevered dreams of too much fucking sulfur in your system.
This was the first day I was at the hotel, so the sulfuritis hadn't.
So it kicked off with
it kind of put me in a bad mood. That
girls were going home.
You know what a griffin is?
But yeah, like it was just kind of like I thought like this was the happy place. This was the Magic Kingdom. Like why? Like
you should have smacked it right off your shoulder.
I had wonder in my eyes right off the bat. So I'm like, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. This fucking is amazing. This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. This whatever this animal is on this guy's shoulder.
Like Trump could be dictator for life, and it wouldn't matter because you're like, this is fucking awesome.
They're creating new species and like these docile creatures that you can clothe. That'll sit on your shoulder.
Nope,
it was a puppet.
It's a puppet owned by some douchebag.
And I had to be made to feel like a tool for asking about it.
Yeah, like a heel, like an inferior.
Yeah, and then I got a bad head cold on the way home.
Yeah.
But I did find the highlight. Well, I don't want to say the highlight. There's a lot of highlights, but one of the things that really tickled me, and because I hadn't sat in one in almost 20 years, was we found a Ponderosa on the way down.
Oh my God. Getting talked down to by the asshole seems like a highlight compared to going to Ponderosa.
Oh, it was awesome. Great. It was so good.
Ponderosa. It
was so good. I was like, I saw it and I was like, I want to stop there. And
it's like your cafeteria for steaks.
And I finally was able to convince the girls, if let them do what they want to do. One of the days that they would eat at the Ponderosa, so we would eat the Ponderosa. It was good.
He pushed me around in this wheelchair because I was sulfur poisoning.